We're David and David, and you're at Outsider Tart in London, an American-style bakery, and today we're going to show you some tips and tricks on frosting and finishing cakes. I'm going to show you how to make white chocolate frosting. So we have all our ingredients out for our white chocolate frosting, and first in our bowl we have 12 ounces of soft butter. We have a couple of cups of powdered sugar, and of course a key ingredient in white chocolate frosting is melted white chocolate. Just a little tip, you have to melt it and cool it, so I prepared this a little earlier. Really let it sit out. You never have to worry about it re-solidifying, but on white chocolate, always best, unless you're really comfortable and with your heating element on your stove, always best to melt it over a pot of boiling water. So it's a gentle melt. I also find that if you melt it and just leave some chips, like little chunks of chips in it while it's heating, take it off the heat and let those chips actually cool the white chocolate down on their own, and it'll all come out very smooth, which is what we did here. And then leave it out until it's room temperature. We need a little bit of milk and our vanilla. So first we're going to cream our butter by itself. And that's on a medium speed. And as you see, since it was, we've left this butter out to bring it to room temperature as well, so it's nice and soft already. And we're going to add into that a little bit of milk. You want your milk to be room temperature again. Take it out of your fridge. Decant a little bit if you want in a little glass, so it warms up a bit, because the cold milk, when it hits the room temperature butter, will seize the butter up and you'll have to beat it for a little bit longer. But what you're going to do is add this in. About 2 tablespoons is where we'll end up being. And just put it in a little at a time. If you can see, and it's starting to, what was really wet and liquidy is now getting some nice texture to it. There we go. So we're going to want to scrape down our sides, because some of it is sticking to the sides, but it's light and fluffy now, which is what the milk is supposed to do, which is very nice. If we just scrape it down ever so slightly, just to make sure we don't have any butter chunks left in there, because we want this really smooth when we incorporate our white chocolate. Always cleaning the paddle is the hardest part. There we go, set that off to the side. So just scrape down, and that's good. You can see there was some little chunks that we're going to mix down, but it should be nice and soft and fluffy. I knew I could do that one-handed. So put it back on a low speed. And we're going to slowly incorporate in our cooled, very important to be cooled, white chocolate. If, and I know you guys won't do this because everybody's listening when I say cooled white chocolate, but if your chocolate happens to be a little warm, when you put it into your butter, it's going to melt your butter, and you'll see that happening. Here you see how we still have a nice thick mass inside our bowl. If you melt your butter, it's not the end of the world. What you're going to have is a really end result of a really light, thin frosting. It'll still work, it'll still taste the same, just texture-wise it's going to be very fluffy and light, which isn't what you want. You want a really thick, silky, rich frosting. So that's what you get from the cooled butter and the cooled chocolate. We'll take this off so you can have a look and see. Just to prove to you that I had cooled white chocolate. You can see that's held together and it's still got, so that's butter, a little milk, and white chocolate that we have here. So that's got good texture to it. We're now going to add in our powdered sugar to give it a little more structure. But as you see, it's a nice silky gloss that we have. So we're going to add the powdered sugar a little bit at a time on a low speed. And all of a sudden you'll see it come together into a frosting, which is a very pleasurable thing. It's best to get powdered sugar into the bowl. There we are. So that's about 2 cups, like I said, of powdered sugar that we've added in. Turn it up a little bit. And we're not quite there yet, but just so you can see, compared to what it was, it's starting to look like a frosting. We're going to add a little bit of vanilla to give a little more flavor, because right now that white chocolate is quite sweet. But you don't want to change the color too much, so truly just about a half teaspoon of vanilla. And it'll still give you a nice ivory color to your frosting. And whipping it together on a low speed for a little bit longer, and we are done. So let's have a look at how that's turned out. Again, scrape down your paddle. Get all of that frosting off there and make sure you've gotten all the different bits and pieces of butter. Make sure it's all mixed in. We're going to scrape around our sides and scrape up from the bottom. This, looks-wise, is one of my favorite frostings. It looks really silky and it spreads quite nicely. So that is a finished white chocolate. And that's how you make white chocolate frosting.